Hello there, this is Three of Spades, and today I'm going to talk about some stuff in light of Accursed Farms here and the end of Stop Killing Games. Now, for those of you unaware, Ross Scott here from Accursed Farms has been leading one of the biggest campaigns across the world to try and destroy the practice of companies destroying your games, which has been pretty rampant throughout the past two game console generations. Uh, that being the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and now the Series X and S consoles and PlayStation 5. And the thing about it, he goes through this video about an hour long, and he kind of doesn't discuss real Plan Bs. I mean, there are a few in there, but obviously the whole thing doesn't stop at this, and he's still never going to not be upset about it, which, hey, fair. But I have a different Plan B and a different perspective on this whole matter, and that's what I'm going to be discussing today. And the thing about it is, this whole project that he's been doing, the biggest problem has been apathy. People just not caring. And, I definitely can relate because, in all actuality, what more people care about is the idea, not the practice. A lot of people have proven over the past decade or so to be rather content with their property being destroyed, getting rid of shit, throwing it away, and really not having any kind of common sense, self-worth, or care for their own selves or identities. So, if you're not one of these people who, actively is in support of your property, your person, or whatever else being destroyed or stolen from you or whatever, it's better to talk alternatives and Plan Bs for games in particular. Now, my Plan B is actually quite the opposite to saving these games. It will have a lot of casualties, and that's the unfortunate part. But do any of you remember the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360? Well, for those who don't, I'll sort of explain my point with this really quick. Those games on there used to be military shooting games, games where you were in the army, where you fight real world battles in a video game, and the thing about it was, since that generation of consoles went on very long, nobody really goes back to make army games anymore. The market was oversaturated with them. And what happened is those games died out pretty much at the start of the Xbox One. They bled into it a little bit. But after the likes of Overwatch and Fortnite really took hold, people moved over to the current degenerate Newgrounds, cartoon stuff that they like, and that's just, I don't really care for it, so whatever. But on top of that, a lot of people didn't challenge the practice of games being killed, and this past decade they've grown to accept it, even though the likes of Don Matrick with the Xbox One and Sony basically just getting up on stage and saying, yeah, we are going to charge a monthly subscription fee for the online stuff that was free for the past two consoles. Everybody got up and applauded. So, if you're like me and you think this is a terrible precedent, what are your alternatives? How would you, as an individual, if everybody else can't be bothered to give a shit, be able to guarantee your ownership of games and games that you want to play? Well, I got some great examples. eBay. Yeah, so this seems a little like a weird one for you, but if legal action isn't going to work, I think individual action will. So, maybe people would be against the ideas of buying a new console. That's fine. You don't have to buy a new console. You could always pirate shit. Or maybe you could. Don't know. Really don't care. You could always go to buy PC DVD games, and you'd be surprised. Lovely hot dog girls, and oh yeah, we're gonna back up from that real quick. How's about Call of Duty? All right, so we got Call of Duty here. Modern Warfare, you're gonna want most definitely. World at War. Games for Windows Live games. And I've got a decent collection of these myself. Let's see. Games for Windows Live games. PC DVD. There we are. And the thing about this is a defunct service. Now, you're going to have some expensive ones like this or whatever, but if we scroll down here, you're going to find Bulletstorm, $6 with some delivery fees. And what I recommend you do is you sort by buy it now. You're going to want to go to shipping lowest first. You can find stuff like this. Usually with CD games, the best thing about them is you can find them from fairly cheap. Like this. This is the Club. That's $10 basically if you count the shipping. Maybe 11. We keep going down here. Bulletstorm. There's a lot of copies of Bulletstorm. The Sims, Half-Life. You can go to sites like Game Copy World. And this is where you crack games. Not for piracy, but if you have legally purchased a CD copy of a game, for instance, and there's a lot of these up to about 2010. Some companies still do this. I mean, there's Street Fighter. There's a shitload of Bulletstorm. I don't know why there's so many Bulletstorm. BioShock, Fallout, Sims, Mini Ninjas. I used to really like that one. GTA 4, Halo, Resident Evil 5, and it goes on. You can find them in lots, bundles, things of this nature. And then let's say Halo 2. We're going to search here. Oh, no, thank you. And that is why I have ad block, people. Here we go. We're going to just do this, and there you are. Got it. I know this website uses sex ads. I don't want to see them. But here we are. We got game fixes, trainers, X-Liveless too, so you can bypass the DRM for the service which is broken, still have a physical copy that works. Or let's say GTA 4. There we go. And game fixes, no DVD, unprotected launcher, no DVD fixed image, trainers, story mode save games, other stuff for betas, X-Liveless, and other fixes of that regard as well. So for PC games, you're not out of luck. And you also have itch.io, which, for those unaware, I'm on here. We gotta look for Rogue Planet. Here I am. Completely free game. Doesn't require any kind of online DRMs. Doesn't require anything else of that manner. It's just free. All you need is a computer. You can run it, and you can play it. Pretty simple. And simple games are still being made like this. There are other people who made other Rogue Planets, so hey, at least I wasn't alone in that regard. That's pretty encouraging. Or let's say first-person shooter. Yeah, there's a lot. There's all kinds of different ones too. You got some people who really want to bump up the graphics. You got some more amateur ones. You got like one with a cat. You've got all kinds of other stuff, and a lot of these you can play in your browser. A lot of them you can download. This one, pretty simple, and hey, you got all kinds of cool games here. So you got options there. Another one you got, if you want something a little less amateur, is GOG. Now with GOG, DRM-free. You are not punished for paying for a game you want, and they got AAA games. They might not have all of them, but the ones they do have, they work. And, I mean, pirating them is also not exactly hard. It's up to you if you want to do that, but you do so at your own risk. Over here, I'm going to close out all these. Let's say you're not on your computer. You don't want to play any of these. Alright, sure. What other options do you have? Well, we got PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3 consoles do not really go for too much. There are some that aren't tested. You might want to avoid those, but the ones that are, some work, some have local pickups, some don't ship, some do. You might be able to contact the seller of this one under the purple light here, maybe, and see if they'd be willing to do a deal to ship it to you if you're not in Sparks, Nevada, apparently. And what about games? How much are the games? So what's a console without games? Well, I'm glad you asked, hypothetical viewer. Like $3. A lot of them. Oh, but do they work? Yeah, a lot of them work. A lot of them were made to last. Hell, a lot of these under $13. You can get whole bundles of them too. Let me show you. Got a lot. You could choose individual ones. Look at how many stacks of games that are designed to mostly work offline. There are a few exceptions. And the best thing you can do in that regard, because let's just say you can't exactly kill the practice of companies killing games by legal means, is to boycott them by playing other shit that doesn't do that. Look at how many games and how many options you have for those games. Maybe you don't want to play something that's older, though. I get it. Okay. Well, you want to play something with better graphics. You want to play a game that, you know, really is more of your style. Well, we got Xbox Ones here. Now, why would you go with an Xbox One, you might say? Well, I mean, pretty simple. It's cheap. It's about the same shit as a PlayStation 4. Every game on that, it's also like $2-3, especially at your local Gamestop. Let's go here. $10 for 2 games. Pick and choose up to like $12. Lots of games. Bundles, all kinds of shit. Let's see a lot bundle. We're going to go with gallery view. Pick and choose, other stuff. There we go. We got mix and match. You can make bundles. There's all kinds of cross-bundle games for Xbox 360. And that's the best thing about the Xbox One, is Xbox 360 and original Xbox games play on it as well. That's one thing that I think Sony has really not gotten right in 2 console generations, pretty much. PlayStation 3 was the last one to actually do that somewhat well. What a waste, right? But we got bundles of Titanfall, Spark, Fallout 4. You can go through here and find games that will work offline. You're going to have to figure out which ones will load from the disc. And mostly, you'll find out the answer is primarily licensed games, or single-player ones, or multiplayer ones with bots, mostly Call of Duty. Call of Duty, I think, especially on the Xbox One, has been the consistently... If you want to own your game, it's probably the most consistent one throughout that will actually work. So let's say Call of Duty, Black Ops 3, Xbox One. Alright, so we got like $5 on that shit. Free local pickups too. You can have this shit shipped out to you. Offers, all kinds of, like, look at these. You're not lacking in options here if you want to buy a game. If you want to own your game too. See, the mentality of you will own nothing and be happy is a load of horseshit. Because that assumes that everybody's just going to go with the flow and be dumbass robots. That's not true. It's not even true a little bit. It completely ignores alternatives and competition or anything that is slightly older. Well, If you're willing to deal with the fact that these are slightly older, then you'll have fun. If that's a deterrent to you, then I really don't know why the fuck you're playing all of these new games that have all this vaporwave 80s and 90s shit. Meanwhile, something from the early 2000s or 2010s is just too old. It's too bad. We can't play that. It's too. I don't like it. Have you tried it? No. Well, then why not give it a try? It's even cheaper than a new console from Sony or Xbox. Or fucking Switch too. Like, look at this. Fucking Xbox Series. Let's look at an Xbox Series X console. We got up to fucking $900 on this shit. A black one, $200. $200, 200, 300, 250. It's ridiculous. Meanwhile, you can just buy one of these for like 40, 50 bucks. And what? It's a generation older? It works. You can, if you are concerned about owning your games with discs and you'd like to be able to play your games, well, this is actually not a bad console. All you gotta do is keep it online one time, put all the accounts and shit you want on there, and then you can skip updates and stay offline as long as you want. They even have the ability for you to take your disc, load it into the console, and it will just install from the disc. You don't need to be connected to the internet in order to use the console. You have choices, but refusing to use them, then getting panicked about all these new games, it just doesn't add up, you know? Now, as much as I would like companies to stop shooting themselves in the foot, that's not going to happen because they like money. But not just money, they also like power, and they like attention. Because they don't do this for the money. Why would you make such terrible, degenerate, like, Tumblr cartoon crap games that are like some weird thing that a abused 12-year-old would draw in their spare time while they're complaining about everyone and everything? Why would you do that as a big AAA company? Back that kind of stuff verbatim. Unless you were doing it to get a reaction out of people, like a 12-year-old. And it lines up. It fucking lines up. It's the exact same kind of behavior that a teenage vandal would have, or some kid on Counter-Strike spraying boobs on a wall. Like, people haven't fucking learned a damn thing since 2007. I mean, there's a reason why we tried to leave this shit behind, because it was uncivil. But doesn't look like you can escape it. And, you're going to have to make your decision on that matter either way. Do you keep buying games that cost $100 that break in like 2 weeks and nobody gives a shit? Or do you buy something that lasts a lot longer, is cheaper, works anytime you want, and maybe doesn't have all the latest and greatest visuals, but still looks fucking, great, right? I know what I'm choosing. And hell, a console like the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, or the PlayStation 3, or games for Windows Live. If you don't do all of 5 seconds of research, you'll just end up looking like an idiot. Now, the thing about it is, what happens if these games you've already purchased die? Well, they're gonna die. And the best way to make it so companies don't get away with it in the future is to let them get away with it right now. Now, you might wonder, why would you want to let them get away with it? We have to do something. Because you're giving them attention. That's why. If you give attention to them, you're not giving attention to other solutions. You're not giving attention to things you can do as an individual. You're not giving attention to that. And as a result, you're giving all the power over to these big companies who don't really give a fuck about anything other than the dollar. They will surround themselves with idiots who will defame, defraud, and vandalize all of their IPs that you like just to get to you and just to get to your money. See, they're counting on the kind of people like Pyrocynical or Moist Critical or shitty other YouTubers who make garbage content to just play their game for a week, say it sucks, and then that's their marketing. Instead of, oh, well, I don't know, actually doing their fucking job. It's people like the Act Man who will never present a solution that you could feasibly go out and get yourself. Just keep complaining and keep people angry, because that makes them more powerful. That is attention. Anytime you give that attention, you're not giving it to something you could use and have more fun with. Plus, I don't know if you've seen the state of the world outside, but kind of sucks. Although, if you're willing to go out of your way to do, like, 5 minutes of research, check a eBay, or check a, Facebook Market or whatever, you can find all manners of fun games. Hell, you don't even have to pay for some of these. You could go to a website like myabandonware.com, and you can find hundreds of old abandoned games that still work completely fine. I mean, if you're the kind of person who likes retro graphics and arcade shit, there's X-Men, you got fucking Wheelman, you got all this, other shit. You have options. You have options. You have a choice. And you can choose to not play those games. Hell, do you think there's not any good franchises on there? Like, I'm going to say Harry Potter. We got a lot of Harry Potter games. All the movie games. Look at them. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix for other devices too. Lego Harry Potter. Now some of these are still sold, so if you see this money bag sign, yeah, don't fuck around with it. We've got all kinds of games. And you got all kinds of options. Maybe you want something that's like a shooter. Maybe you want an RPG. Let's say an RPG. Let's just say you want an RPG, right? Not a shooter. I'm into shooters. Maybe you're not. Well, you got all kinds of role-playing games here. Stuff for DOS, stuff for other computers, stuff for whatever. Guess what? Do these have any DRMs attached to them? No. If they do, they're probably not going to be there very long because they can crack this shit. So, you keep playing stuff like this, companies will have no choice but to chase the trend. Let's say Pirates of the Caribbean. So I mentioned piracy a few times. Oh, we got quite a few of them, don't we? But anyway, my ending sort of thesis is, if you cannot pursue legal action, we can't rally the troops, well, do what you want for yourself. And these are good ways to do it, I think. Play games like these. Don't buy these new ones. And just have fun. Because at the end of the day, that's what playing a game is about, having fun. Relaxing. Escapism, because God forbid we actually have fun in this fucking world and not be, forced into militant political activism or whatever the fuck else. Not that you really need to be a politician to understand some basic fucking common sense, but apparently the internet doesn't seem to be able to separate these two things. Politics, how tiresome. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my little ramble here. I'm going to show you some other websites. Old games download. Here's another one. Maybe you want to play some Battlefield. Well, guess what? They got Battlefield. Oh, you better believe they got Battlefield. How about the Hulk? Yep, they got the Hulk. How about the Simpsons? Yeah, they got the Simpsons. You can go to any one of these. Let's say you want to do hit and run. You can go right here. You can get that, and there you go. And you can choose how to download it, and there we are. There, that shit downloads. Now, I already have this one just for archival's sake, but hell, it's useful to have. Let's say they got Far Cry. Nope. Call of Duty. They do not have Call of Duty. You're going to have to do some searching around for stuff like this, but yeah, should be helpful. If all these other YouTubers and people getting together fails you, well, the best thing you got to realize in life is you want a job to be done, you got to do it yourself. Now, my coverage, I did have an ulterior motive for, and I got to come clean about it. The thing is, I wanted to prove, in my eyes, why it is people won't do things that are better for them. I wanted to know that for a fact. I wanted somebody to actively be up there, to get behind this, to say, hey, we've done all the shit for you. We have paved the trail for you. To do this, to get this fixed, we have done everything we can possibly do. Only to know for certain that people would never do it. If you want an example of why all these games are going to fall apart, that's why. You couldn't be bothered to raise a finger, other than your middle one, at yourself. Now, I wanted to know this for certain because I thought I was, a little bit of a character, a little bit of a spaz. I thought maybe, no, people have to have a little better of an idea of self-preservation than they currently have. They don't. People in this world, you'll realize, just want to watch it burn. Kind of like the Joker. But the joke's on them. Because they don't understand they're going to have to live in it. But, as Haley will tell you from Stay the Night, when we can burn, we'll never learn. I hope this video has been helpful and informative to you. Real shame this, if it doesn't work out, well, hey. Don't let it be said it didn't work for lack of trying. Take care.